All right, so we're back. It's two dads, six daughters. Our show. We're two fathers with three daughters each. Do the math. Two
Yes,
dads, six daughters. Myself
man.
and my brother from another mother, Mark Clark. What's up,
It's a lot
man?
of kids, man.
That's a
Damn.
lot of kids, man. That's and all daughters. Man,
Sheesh.
I knew this dude. I used to work with back before when I was a teenager, and he had five daughters.
Jeez.
And I heard someone ask him one time, man, how you going? How you doing that, man? He says, you pray a lot.
Man.
But
So
five daughters. I don't know what would be worse, five daughters or five sons.
I take the five daughters just because
Well,
the
it's because
activity level.
but that because but we know daughters. We don't know
Yeah,
sons.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
Son.
saying?
Yeah. I mean, I take us. I would like a son though, but
Yeah.
hey,
5 years ago, was it five? Almost 6 years ago, I had my grandson for the summer. That was different, man.
man,
That
that's
was
been 6 years.
yeah. Well, he's gonna be 11 in December.
Sheesh. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And my grandson, my newest grandson, is going on a month old, I think,
Go ahead,
and, and,
Pappy.
and gained a pound.
Go
So
ahead,
we
Pappy.
so we call him Papi, and we call my older grandson Papito. So that's from my mother. My mother does that, so kind of caught on. So one of those things. So Olivia, your goddaughter, my 18-year-old, her and her roommate at college, they decided to have a party,
Okay.
right, at their dorm. So me, you know how I am. I'm thinking, what if someone slipped something, a Mickey in their drink next time? Because my brother-in-law, may he rest in peace, told me one time that he was at a club dancing and he put his drink down, and when he got through dancing, he went, drank it, picked up his drink and drank it again. Next thing you knew, he woke up 3 days later butt naked in a van with a bunch of other people. This is what he told me. So I'm thinking, in my head, I know where someone slips her something in. I mean, she don't drink alcohol, obviously, but I mean, I'm just like, what happens, and all this kind of stuff like this. Well, they had pasta and wings and pizza and soda and chips and popcorn, and two guys showed up, and that was it. And the two guys ate up the food, and then they broke wide, man. They left. So they got used for the food.
Hey, well, it could have been worse, man.
Yeah, well, I got somebody hunting them down right now. Oh, I'm getting $6.95 each. But no, but yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
Man, they had a grown up, they had a grown person party. That sounds like what Tony Scott's party. Learn from you.
So they had this idea, man, and I don't know, but did it turn out the way they wanted to? No, it didn't. And then they actually got in her roommate's car and they went driving around and stuff like that, and late at night and stuff. And I was like,
Oh man.
right.
Well,
What she doesn't know is I use the Find My Friends app, so I knew where they were and stuff. So, shh, don't say nothing though. You know me, man.
Hilarious.
So yesterday, Olivia got recognized again for this. She got this scholarship, this $100,000 scholarship that we've been riding on cloud nine about since she got it. And they actually had her in a few weeks ago, and they shot a video. They did a video,
Hmm.
and we'll have to get the Godfather Mark a copy of this
Yes,
because,
please.
man, she looked great. And the wife was on there, and they talked to her, and oh, it's a great video, and it was like a little reception for her.
Mm.
They had all these big wigs from the university there, and they were all coming up to her and saying that congratulations, and you were great, and your future's bright, and all this kind of stuff like that. And she's eating up the attention because who wouldn't,
That's
But
amazing, man. You just got $100,000 scholar. That's just amazing. So
it's
proud of her,
crazy.
man.
Oh man, you have no
Sign me
idea.
up, man. I'm on board this ship. We are going somewhere.
So,
Man, go ahead, girl.
but let's talk about Halloween and your girls, man. How'd that go?
Oh man, well Sydney had dance class, so the first two or the little two, well actually it was a split up when I think about it. The baby was with mom because my middle child Skylar went to a girlfriend's house,
Mm-hmm.
and then Sydney had dance, so they all dressed up, but they all had all three different things going on.
Right.
So it always ends up being complex at our household,
Yeah.
and we tried to use that old don't you want to be with your family instead of being no.
No.
So and we
No.
tried to pull that out.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Well.
And each year, one or two of them have parties to possibly go to. Now, Skylar's friend, they had a great idea. Their neighborhood, they have a party. They do haunted house in their backyard. So a neighborhood haunted house. So the kids who come through get to go to the haunted house, get the candy, and there's a party. I'm like, then they all go trick or treating. I'm like,
Oh,
that's a great idea.
that is a great idea. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, like I said, Sydney, I give it to Sydney because, Olivia was a dancer. The dance practice don't stop, baby. So, yes, it's Halloween, but I'll see you at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so she got out at like 8:30. By the time she got her stuff on, it was like 9:10. It was like 2 homes left with a light on. Damn. And you try to, like, as a parent, it's okay, it's all right, baby. I know it's like, oh, that sucks, man. You got like 4 candy bars.
Man, I saw a picture of Sydney, your oldest. Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow. When did that happen, man?
Man, last summer. It's so funny. Dad is Dad's always, we always are fighting for attention. But then we always have something that kind of makes it look crazy. So when I did the juice thing, I guess a year and a half ago, I think I credit that for setting the tone of like health and fitness in the household.
Mm-hmm.
Sydney, as a young girl who takes ballet, she wanted to make some changes physically. So she also started tracking. Her and Allison started tracking. And so I think of the combination of, the age and her activity level and the fact that she started monitoring what she ate, man, she dropped down, man. She transformed her body, man. I transformed my body, then transformed it back like a transformer.
you did a Luther, man.
I turned into it. Allison I was like, do you like Big Mark or Little Mark? She's like, I like Little Mark. I'm like, all right, great. But Sydney maintained and she's got control of her thing.
That's incredible discipline for a 12-year-old.
And it's a fine line too, because you read about all the eating disorders and stuff.
Yeah.
But I like Sydney's attitude because she's kind of systematic. She's the all A kind of organized kid who's kind of just can put it in perspective. So, she looks great. And again, how the dancing thing is. They dance their butts off all the time.
All the time, even around the house.
They were spinning, and she's on point now. The other day, man, I had to give her some Ray Lewis courage points. She's on point now, which they're on their toe, and she forgot her toe pad, so she rubbed the front of her big toe raw, and it was bleeding in class. So she's in tears, dancing on that toe because she could not dance. You can't say, oh, I forgot my toe pad today.
Yeah. And
I mean, you're 12, and I was just like in the car. I was driving, but I was like, oh, that's too bad, baby. Good job. I couldn't let her know. But, I felt like, sometimes I want to be more lovey-dovey, but the dad thing kicks in, and I'm kind of almost like treated like she's playing football or something like.
Shake it off! Shake it off!
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Maria told me today, because I picked her up from tennis, and she told me today that she got apparently last night she slipped in the shower and hit her head. I didn't know this. My wife knew about it, and she tended to her, but I didn't know. And then at tennis today, she got whacked in the eye with the ball, and then she fell on her wrist that she broke over the summer.
Oh my goodness.
So I said, "Are you okay?" And I was like you, but I said, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And then the tough thing kicked in and stuff like, you gotta shake it off, man. You gotta get, you all right? You gonna be all right? She goes, yeah, I'll be okay. I said, all right. So
then the party's like, oh, you're such a jerk. Why didn't I? See, my father-in-law babies. He loves, like, he really babies Allison. He always has. And I feel bad because for some reason I don't. I'm kind of more. I'm there when something jumps off. I got you. I'm like the medic. But I kind of do have when it comes to stuff like that, I do kind of have a Bob Kersey in me where.
Well, yeah, but see, that's your perspective. You see, and there may be some truth to that, but there also may be a balance that you're not aware of where you do, babe. So yeah, it's hard to read yourself sometimes. So Richie Incognito, who played for the Rams here in St. Louis, is with the Miami Dolphins now. I guess he's never going to play for the Dolphins again.
I don't know about that.
That's what they were saying over the weekend. Jonathan Martin is an offensive lineman with the Miami Dolphins, and apparently he had been bullied by Richie Incognito. Now, we're talking about professional football. We're talking about grown men.
Yeah. Huge men.
Huge men.
6'5", 330.
Jonathan Martin apparently had to seek some sort of therapy because of the bullying. But on the other hand, it came out today, and I don't know if this is true or not, but some were saying that he played those voicemails where Richie called him a half N-word and all this kind of stuff like this, and laughed about it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I mean, we've talked about bullying on Two Dads, Six Daughters regarding our children. But what about when your grown child is being bullied?
Well,
obviously you can't step in.
No. Well, I think we're getting more and more of the stories coming out. Like I read the Miami Herald article just a few minutes ago, and it was saying that in fact they were close friends, thick as thieves. That even on that call, he says all that, and then he's like, "Call me." It was like, kind of a and also I read another article, and it was saying, and I thought about us actually, because I think we've talked about this, kind of a class socialization thing where Martin's parents both went to Harvard. He was offered a scholarship to Harvard. He went to a prep school, expensive prep school. He goes to Stanford, and so his high school coach said he wasn't used to being around those kind of guys. Florida State, Alabama, Tennessee, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was basically almost a more refined type person.
Pass the potatoes, please.
One of those.
which, on one hand, probably you and I being guys and being from the tough streets of small town America, there's a party when you first heard the story, it's like, man, you got to man up, especially when it came to the money part. It's one thing if you're scared that you're gonna get your butt beat or get your ass whipped, as I wanted to say, is one thing. But to get to the point where you're giving somebody money, that's ridiculous. You got to stand up. As a grown man, you got to stand up. Because if you don't, what are you going to do? That's probably my initial reaction.
Yeah, because that's not his world, though, like you said.
And that's the other part. So you're right. So, but now, see, the piece that's starting to mess me up is, okay, you're saying that in fact they were pretty close. And in fact, it said anytime he went out, an article said anytime Martin went out, he went out with him. When he was, and they'd be laughing and whatever. So it's a whole bunch of mixed signals there. And I don't know, but at the end of the day, like you said, I think as a parent, the first rule is you got to stand up to the bully. So I don't think you can not stand up for yourself, no matter how frightened you are. What's your take on that?
You know what? I feel bad for Jonathan Martin, especially when I read what the voicemail said, and I feel bad for him because so something about him, he wasn't prepared for the NFL. He might have been physically, but mentally he was not prepared. How do you do that though? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that goes. Ricky Williams says, we're all bullies in the NFL. That's what we're taught to do, is be a bully. We're trying to bully the ball out of them and trying to bully our way into the end zone. So we're all bullies.
And it kind of happens in high school. I mean, that's the part that's the only part that's the question mark is. That's a part of your intestinal fortitude is a big part of that whole game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the sport though of football, the foundation of it is intimidation and aggression.
Yeah, Ray Lewis said it best. He said, in order to succeed in this game, you have to want to dominate another man.
Yeah. If
you don't want to dominate another man, it's not a game for you.
But at the same time, you don't expect to be dominated and intimidated by a teammate.
Well, that's true, but I think the other part of that is exactly. You can't let anybody dominate or intimidate.
So you're saying, Jonathan, do something about it then.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, at the end of the day, this is not the game. I guess that's what I kind of want to say is this ain't the game for you.
Right.
If a bully, if you can't handle a bully, you don't need to be playing this game. That sounds very cold. But now, if it's my son, we probably have to come to that same conclusion. Maybe son, you need to do something else. Obviously, you're smart. if you don't like it, if it's not what it's almost like if your son came to you and said, "Dad, I'm scared of this guy," what would you say?
Man, I don't know, but there was a couple times growing up. There was a couple times that I was intimidated in middle school by this one guy, and I never told my father because I knew what my father would tell me.
What would he say?
He would tell me to handle it. Handle your business. Do what you but that would mean if you get kicked out of school, that's fine. If you get kicked out of school for handling your business, then I got your back, right? You'll sit out a year, but there'll be no punishment, And I kind of knew that, right? But at the end of the day, he kept picking on me. We were in woodshop class, and I picked up a T-square and whacked him on the back of the head, and
well, there you go.
Nobody saw anything.
See, well, and I mean, as parents, one of my daughters, there's a little girl who's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and she told me about it, and I actually talked to a friend who knows, and of course, the little girl's going through something. And my daughter has an rational anxiety about this little girl. This little girl keeps pulling scissors out and like pulling them on kids. And she just went to the office again today for it. And so, one of my daughters is upset about it. And so, that's in that world, that's pretty real. And that's actually pretty, so. Now, the one thing I will do is I've already had my friend talk to the parent, but Big Daddy will have to pull the crazy big ball black guy move at the school to let everybody know that nothing better not happen.
Yeah, I'm not the one.
Do you have it under control? Because you don't want me coming up there.
Yeah, right. No, I get that. Sometimes you have to play that role. I get that. Totally.
But Martin, his dad can't do that.
No, he can't do that.
You're in the NFL and you're a man.
But so let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Well, let's go to the middle of the spectrum because we talked about our kids being bullied before. Now we're talking about this grown man. So here you got Chili from TLC. And she started an online campaign to get the media to quit bullying her son, Tron. Her son is 16 years old.
Yeah.
Now, to me, I think she's making a mistake. And I'm going to tell you why. And then I want to hear your take. Because to me, at 16... He needs to be taught about, being a little bit more thick-skinned. And because we're a celebrity family, you got to learn to let these things roll off your back. You got to ignore it. You can't even just don't give it a second thought. Because now, his peers are going to say, your mama kicking in for you on a national level, man, taking up for you. What is that? You know how that is, man. Yeah. So, to me, I think she's making a mistake. What about you? And I understand why she's doing it because we don't want to see our babies in pain, emotionally, physically, or otherwise.
Well, I think, like you said, the cyberbullying is something we've never dealt with before. And probably the more effective way is to hire a company who probably curbs that. You would never think about that because it's not like, as simple as going to a school and telling somebody to quit talking about your baby.
Right.
It's a nationwide thing. So I probably would you hire a company, and that company, the expert, would tell you how to best do it. Yeah, I don't think what she's talking, like you said, her talking about doing a national campaign. No, I think that's definitely the wrong move. But nobody's written a book on it, but there are people who specialize in it. That's the route I would go because again, I think they make fun of them, and you know how it is nowadays. I can imagine every time he goes to Facebook or whatever, Twitter or websites, he's getting picked on. It's hard enough for us grown folks, but for a kid who's 16, it probably hurts her to see him in pain. But at the same time, and it may sound even as a parent, if you said, "Honey, well, got to have thick skin," it almost sounds like that's not an answer for me.
Yeah, but maybe you're right about that. And it's different for boys and girls, right?
I think it's kind of blending in. That's the other part I think that is different. Yeah. When we were growing up, we kind of like just basically, especially like a boy, you just say, "What, man? Toughen up." But
toughen up.
These kids are not armed with the tough skin that we had. I think a lot of it is socially. They don't. So we had to work it out. Like at woodshop, you had to figure out I'm gonna get this hammer today. You know,
I'm gonna get that T-square today, which is what I did.
know,
Yeah.
Whereas these kids don't have that kind of. I don't think they interact on that level consistently like we did, and we had to figure it out. They kind of just don't know how to figure it out. I think they're just not armed with it, and then kids are killing themselves over this.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the something that we can't have that. We really can't. Hey, I was reading this article about this just came out today about Will Smith and his co-star from the movie Focus, Margot Robbie, where they apparently took some selfies together, where he's pulling up his shirt and she's pulling up her shirt, and everybody's saying, dude, you're married. What the hell are you doing, right? And then I got to thinking about a while back on Huffington Post Live, Jada says that Will and I are very relaxed with one another, but I've always told Will, you can do whatever you want as long as you can look at yourself in the mirror and be okay. Is that something that a wife, and I know we're 2 dads, 6 daughters, but is that something that a wife should tell her husband, or even a husband should tell his wife? I don't care what you do as long as you can look yourself in the eye. In a way, you're almost like saying, yeah, you got a free pass. Is she fine?
Well, no, Tony, I think that's how you're interpreting it.
Okay.
No, I think they're. I think it's one of those things where, yeah, basically, if you do this and feel like you can stand on it,
yeah,
then you're a grown man. I'm a grown woman.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say don't do anything. Just if you do it, be able to justify it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And
how do you justify taking a picture like that with a woman when you're a married man?
Well, I think
is it different for celebrities?
No, I think it might be different for them. I think every married couple has their parameters, and I will honestly say that now that we're in the 13 years and we're doing it, and through ups and downs and things that happen, I think our parameters it's much different than it was versus the theory of when I was getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, what I mean? Like I saw something the other day when on one of those shows, the host wanted to kiss somebody in the audience or whatever. And the guy, she picked one guy, but oh no, he's married or whatever. If Allison kissed the guy on TV or something for a bit or something, it wouldn't even be a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're in the business though. You understand.
Yeah, well, but I'm saying Jada and Will are in the business, so them taking selfies or somebody you're in a movie with, I don't. It would not be if I'm Will and the same thing happened and Allison happened to be Jada, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I haven't seen the pictures though, but I'm just saying whatever, But again, you're a little bit more conservative on that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of like, being that they're in the business too,
mm-hmm.
both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand where they're coming from.
Okay. We got a letter. We take emails, people looking for advice from 2 dads with 6 daughters. You can send it to advice@2dads6daughters.com.
That's a lot of kids, man. Every time we say that,
there's a lot of kids, but we each have 3, so it's all right. So, dear guys, my 25-year-old married daughter is cheating on my son-in-law. My son-in-law, he's a good kid. He works 2 jobs. They got 1 child. Knowing what I know now, I wonder if this child is actually my son-in-law's. My wife cheated on me a few times in our marriage. The last time that I knew about it was 4 years ago. Do I confront my daughter about this? I saw her in the park with my own eyes, so this ain't some rumor. Do I tell my son-in-law? Do I tell my wife? What do you think?
I confront my daughter.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would confront her. I'd say, look, what the hell's going on?
Right. I saw you.
I saw you. I seen you.
I seen you.
It's not fair. What's up? What would you do?
I wouldn't tell my wife. I wouldn't tell my son-in-law. I'm torn whether I would confront my daughter about it or not. Obviously she got this pattern, this from her mother. She saw
this pattern, man.
She got this from her mother. Obviously, the last time that the man's wife cheated on him was 4 years ago, which would put her at about 21 years old. So she has seen this. She understands what it is, and this is seen as acceptable behavior because her parents never split up over it. Obviously, they're still together. So this to her is probably acceptable behavior.
Well, go ahead, Dr. Root. Broke that one down, man. Dr. Phil?
I'm just saying. Does that not make sense, though? I mean, it's obviously she learned that. She got that from her mama. so I don't know. But I would probably have to talk. I wouldn't want to talk to my daughter about that. I feel like, it would be like me explaining the facts of life to my daughter. I don't want to have that conversation. But sometimes you have to do that. You have to have that conversation. And yeah, I probably would have to pull her aside and say, look, I saw you. So don't deny it, because I saw you. Now you need to tell me honestly, is this child Ricky's? You know what I'm saying?
Ricky not the daddy.
Ricky's not the daddy, huh? See, I would want some answers. And if it continued, I guess I would have to say, if you don't end this, I'm gonna tell him. I probably wouldn't tell him. I probably wouldn't, but I got to put that threat out there, man. This has to end, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, see, you got a whole plan. I probably would at least say, "What's up? What's going on?" and let her explain what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, based on if she's still lying to me and stuff, I just be like, "All right, look."
Yeah.
Because right, if she's in denial, like you saw it and you this whole thing, and she's still lying, and your mama cheated too.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of all y'all.
Well, there you go. So, man, that's got to be tough, though, man. Your wife cheated on you. Now you see your grown daughter cheat on her husband, and you know where she got it from. You know where she got it from, but he has to take blame for it too because he let it happen. He wanted to keep his family together, and you can't begrudge a man for that.
Yeah. But
at the same time, your daughter saw that as acceptable behavior because you didn't do anything about it.
But Tony, you're assuming that's a big assumption. You assume that he let his daughter know about her mom's freewheeling ways.
Come on, man. You're 21 years old, and you don't see the signs that your dad and your mama's cheating on your dad. You don't see the sign, man. Come on, man.
You never know.
You got to give these kids credit, man. They understand a lot more than we did back in the day.
Damn, you painted dad as a damn sucker.
No, I mean, well, If it walks like a sucker and talks like...
What would you have done? Would you just roll out? Because your wife, you've been married forever. She's 21 4 years ago, so you've been married at least, 15 years, 16 years. Would you roll out because of that?
Well, I will say this. I probably wouldn't have rolled out the first time, right? But, we take it different than women do. Women are so strong when it comes to that. When we realize that our significant other's cheating on us, death is on the table. It always has. We read about it all the time.
Yes, which is interesting.
So we take it differently, and that's not a good thing because we just and I think it has to do more of somebody ran up inside my wife. and that's a tough one, man. That's a hard one. No pun intended. I'm just saying.
we have ownership. We try to own something, like we own something.
Well, I mean, and we just don't take it well. We don't take it well. We never have, man. We never have. Right? Like O.J. Simpson, right? It was a juice! Remember
OJ, man. You gonna pull up OJ?
This was a juice. Remember when was that Orange Juice Jones did that at the end of this? This was a juice. Oh man,
you're killing me.
All right, man. We'll leave it right there, man. It's about that time. So, Mark Clark has his own app, and if you're interested in downloading it for free, we'll put a link in the show notes down below. But it's available for iOS. It's available for Android. It's available for Windows. It's available for BlackBerry.
BlackBerry?
Isn't it BlackBerry? Is BlackBerry on the list?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, so it's that. And, of course, Mark also has his own iHeartRadio channel where he does some pretty interesting things and talks about some things that are pretty interesting. If you want to check it out, you just go to iHeartRadio and just search Mark Clark or On the Mark, actually. So there you go. So give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. Subscribing makes us engaged in some countries.
That's right. Subscribe to us.
Subscribe to us.
We'll support you. We'll give you a dowry if you
there you go.
subscribe.
Yeah.
A cow could be yours. An ox could
and
be yours.
There's some other videos for you to check out right here. Some other episodes of Two Dads, Six Daughters and our very popular show we do with Troy Johnson called Men on Scandal. So you can see that too.
About to blow up.
At your leisure. So thanks again for watching Two Dads, Six Daughters. We'll see you next week, man.
Peace out, Brooklyn. I don't know why I say that. I just like the way it sounds.